Hello again. I wanted to go over today Rivian financials. There's been a lot of misinformation out there, a lot of sensationalism, a lot of just utter nonsense. And regardless of what your opinion is, one way or the other, unfortunately, we live in a world now where YouTube and any other platform that people have is being polarized like crazy. And it's either you love something or you hate something, and Rivian is no different. So either you love them and they're going to last forever and there's no doubt at all, or you hate them and they are, they've been on the brink of bankruptcy and destruction ever since they emerged. And I just wanted to sort of cut through some of the nonsense. A lot of people, I'm sure, have heard about the $6.6 billion loan that's tentatively been offered to Rivian. It's not finalized yet. But that's been offered to Rivian, the billions from Volkswagen. There's a lot of information going on, and Rivian's still losing money per vehicle that they're selling. And I wanted to dive into that and kind of dispel the myth of, why is Rivian losing money? Because they are. And, my thoughts and what I can decipher for you guys on why is Rivian around right now, why are they successful despite losing money, and what is the way forward for them? What does it look like? How do they succeed? So here we go. In finances, of course, they're losing money per vehicle right now. That's to be expected as a new growing company that is still investing in and building its infrastructure like factories and production lines, while also building out its own EV charging network, as well as bringing additional models to light. This is something that traditional auto manufacturers don't have to factor in, since they already have existing factories and production lines. This is also what has slowed them down in this huge time of innovation surrounding EVs, while Rivian, being built entirely from scratch, can be more flexible and forward-focused, moving and approaching challenges in ways that large existing corporations can't, and that really shows. Rivian can move differently than Ford or GM or any of the other big manufacturers actually can. Rivian has started with flagship halo vehicles, the R1s, which is the R1T and R1S, to show off what they can do and just how good an EV adventure vehicle can be when literally no one else on the planet is doing it yet. Then they've refined the way they build and design the same product to scale up and produce enough to meet market demand. They've focused on designing, building, and mass producing as many components in-house as possible, which avoids potential tariffs, creating more jobs, and stabilizing and streamlining their parts supply, which has been an issue for everybody in the industry recently. They've also created such great software that mainstream manufacturers such as Volkswagen are willing to pay billions to not only use their software, but their hardware too. The new Scout vehicles are just reworked R1s without the trick suspension and with a different flavor built to meet a lower price point. I think they're really cool too, but as far as which one most people will want to daily drive, I think that'll be clear. Time will tell. VW has created a joint venture with Rivian and offered a loan option with a repayment structure of 10 years. A major manufacturer is not going to do that unless it believes the company will be around long enough and be successful enough to pay that loan. On top of that, the US government has also extended the $6.6 billion loan, which I already mentioned, to accelerate its growth and leadership of electric vehicle design, development, and manufacturing in the United States. This is what the U.S. did with the oil industry in the beginning of World War II. We had a severe lack of infrastructure surrounding oil, so the government paid people to put in pumps at that time. In order to defend itself, the U.S. was going to have to produce more oil and secure its supply. We're in a very similar situation. No, we're not technically at war with anyone right now, although that's a whole nother subject that we're just not going to dive into on this channel. Um, we aren't currently at war with anybody, technically, but the EV world and battery technology and electrical infrastructure is a global thing that we can't afford to lag behind on as one of the top economies in the world. So this is something that the government sees China putting in major effort into, and we need to compete or we're going to really lose out. So this $6.6 billion loan is due to the government's belief that we have huge competition in the EV sector from China, and we need to be able to produce our own EVs, or our auto sector and all the jobs that come with it will be dominated. It's crucial to our economy and our job market as the government sees it. Rivian has said that if that loan is finalized, they'll use it to help move forward with plans previously paused to bring the manufacturing plant in Georgia online and begin producing R2s and R3s, which it believes will be quote-unquote critical drivers in the company's long-term growth and profitability. Rivian, of course, has more upfront costs to overcome, but it's done such a good job of bringing its first product to market and making it scalable and creating its zonal architecture that big manufacturers believe they need to separate with their hard-earned cash because they can't create something as good as Rivian has themselves. Numerous mainstream companies such as Ford with Skunk Works, Volvo with Polestar, and VW with Scout have created entirely new brands or divisions to research and develop EVs because they aren't capable of doing so as effectively enough as those parent companies currently exist. So these big companies like Ford, GM, all of them are creating different divisions to research and develop because they are so stuck in their traditional auto manufacturer ways, they cannot be flexible enough to carry out EVs properly, profitably, and effectively. The ID Buzz reportedly has horrible software that ruins the interface experience, much like the ID4. This is something that VW Group should theoretically be able to fix in future by using zonal architecture from Rivian and the accompanying software. Why is Rivian different? The R1 already comes with great software and is an incredible total package right now. You should buy a vehicle for what it is now, not for what the updates are promised to be. Rivian R1 is already amazing. Fisker, who we all know about and has met its demise, didn't have one-pedal driving or adaptive cruise, and the software was a complete mess from the get-go. And the journalists and everyone else made a lot of noise about that. It was very clear. They're a great deal right now. I've seen some people claim that they bought them for as low as $10,000. But it is still a throwaway car if anything happens to it due to a lack of parts. But it's a cheapish risk for a whole lot of car at that price. From the get-go, with Fisker, it was a compromised vehicle full of hope and promises that didn't come to fruition, and I genuinely wish that wasn't the case. It was a cool car. It just wasn't finished before they ran out of money. Fisker has already had one company fail before, so the odds of it succeeding this time weren't very good. Rivian, on the other hand, has a fully developed product that has polish and refinement. If you bought it today, it already stacks up to the best of all vehicles available, period. That's with no further updates. So yes, it should improve even more, as it has in my own ownership time already, but the general advice is to buy a car that you're already satisfied with today, not for what it might become. So the Rivian is already an amazing vehicle that I tell people about every chance I get. It's made a fanboy out of me, which is ridiculous. I'm not that type of person. I am still giving it an open, honest review of what my actual experiences are so far. But Rivian has made a believer out of me in a big way, and I do want to spread the word. Highway assist is now very good, enough that I trust it and use it for almost all of my freeway driving, with the exceptions of construction zones or other situations I'd rather be in control of, like accidents on the side of the road or other drivers weaving in and out of their lanes. The cargo and passenger space is amazing. The power is fantastic. The efficiency isn't great for an EV, but it is amazing compared to anything with comparable capacities and capabilities. Rivian has a vehicle available now as an incredible, refined, and complete vehicle with no direct competition. The Fisker was a package with potential that was badly carried out and competed with an overwhelming amount of other 5-passenger EV SUVs, of which almost every manufacturer in the US already makes. Big manufacturers and the US government have bet billions on Rivian's success. This is a company that is here to stay, and every step it's taken has set Rivian up to not only survive, but to actually lead and excel. I just want to remind everybody to make sure that if you're buying your own Rivian, and I've seen a ton on the roads here in San Diego now, but if you're buying your own Rivian, make sure you use someone's referral code. There's plenty of people out there. I'm sure you know somebody. If not, feel free to use mine, Adam142193. I appreciate everybody who's used my referral code already. I've done a video on all the goodies that I've bought with the referral points over time. You get $750 to the gear store, as well as 6 months free charging on the Rivian Adventure Network. Wishing everybody happy Rivian holidays, and thanks for watching.